So I'm just going to do a little voiceover section for here, just to explain. The spoken and written versions of Ithkuil are completely different. In written, you can pretty much read in any order that you want. And on top of that, there are 4 different kinds of characters that are used to write Ithkuil. The primary, the first one, holds the bulk of the grammatical information. It implies just about everything about the root and the CA. The root itself comes right after and is written with a consonant character, secondary. The consonant character is comprised of the end, middle, and tail section that are all different consonants. After that comes tertiaries. The tertiary just holds more information. Slot 8, which can be valence, phase, effect, level, or aspect. They can also show an adjunct, which is what happens here. Half of the information is expressed on a separate word, which you don't really read that way in the script. After that is the quaternary character, which are usually omitted in favor for a diacritic over the root, and those show either the case or illocution, and mood and scope. If mood and scope are not default, then it is required, in which this case it isn't. After that comes another quaternary, which you might think is weird. Are we marking this for 2 cases? No. This is actually part of a referential, which is that consonant right after it. The consonant has a little bar diacritic over it, marking it as a referential, and the quaternary is its case, absolutive. Ithkuil allows for a lot of freedom in reading, just as my other video about how flexible that can be. You can read this in a few different ways. You can mix and match the adjunct, show the aspect on the verb instead of the phase, but the phase outside the word. Literally split it into a bunch of words. It could work that way. You could read it out of order. You can kind of just do anything with that. The script is only information. And the only kinds of phonetic information are the root and any derivational affixes within the root. There are a few special cases, like a rotated consonant character, which is usually for a slot 7, that can be implied to show an affixual formative, which is basically turning a suffix into its own word. So say you forgot the word for big, which I don't know how you would, or the suffix for big, because the suffix and word are the same. But which case you did, you could just use the suffix form and imply as such. On top of everything, you got the numbers. The numbers are kind of entirely separate. They kind of work on their own rules, and I kind of try to piece them together how I would do it. However, the numbers themselves are just kind of distant. All in all, the actual way you read is not the way you speak. And trying to do that is a little confusing, so it's much easier to just read everything in order and piece together the information in your mind the same way your brain would normally. It's effectively if Chinese wrote only grammatical information instead of pictures. Well, that should be it for the voiceover section. I never do these. Still getting used to YouTube, getting a little better. And hopefully this will get easier. Yeah.